I'm Darren Haynes in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the NFL owners meetings. We have completed day 2 of the meeting, so we have a lot of stuff to discuss to give you an update, but here are a few of the headlines that we are going to address on this live right now. One of the main ones is Commanders ownership. What's the latest with the sale? I'll give you an update on that, what the NFL owners are saying, what NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell had to say about ownership. We also get deeper into who is Josh Harris. We know he's from the Washington, D.C. area. He's a billionaire. But some of these other owners know him very, very well. He already has a stake in one NFL team, which we'll talk about in the future of his stake in that NFL team, as he's now in the process of moving closer to purchasing the Washington Commanders. We spoke exclusively to one NFL owner about that. I'll explain what that is a little bit later. We also have an update on the Mary Jo White investigation. That's the investigation regarding Dan Snyder and allegations of financial improprieties, also sexual harassment. So we have an update on that. So a lot to discuss. I'm not done. We actually have an update in regards to a new Commanders stadium. So 4 big elements there. Commanders ownership, also who is Josh Harris and what do these owners think of him. We also have the Mary Jo White investigation and the report, an update on that, and the future of the Washington Commanders building a stadium in Virginia, Maryland, or in Washington, D.C. We're going to say those 3 places. They're not going anywhere else. Let's hope not. All right, so here's the deal. Let's start off first. Big news, Commanders ownership. I can say right now, once again, they did not have a vote right behind me at the NFL owners meetings in Minneapolis. They were also they met again trying to finalize this deal, this $6.05 billion deal that Josh Harris and his partners have with Dan and Tanya Snyder to purchase the Washington Commanders. There are still some issues. Colts owner Jim Irsay still wants to tweak some of those particular things in that deal. But they did speak about looking at a future date. Last night when I was on here after day 1, I was saying they're possibly looking at a date after the 4th of July and before the regular season starts, and that would be in September. Now we're looking at possibly something after the 4th of July, up to maybe mid-July. And the way I'm looking at it is usually the last week of the month of July is when the NFL training camps start. So I'm looking at that window after the 4th of July to maybe possibly July 24th or 25th, where these owners will pick a date where they'll get together and 24 of the 32 owners will need to vote, or should we say in this case 24 of the 31 owners will need to vote in favor of the Josh Harris deal to make it official, and you have a new owner of the Washington Commanders, and Dan Snyder and Tanya Snyder are $6 billion richer and moving on their merry way. So that's the latest with that in regards to ownership. But still, that mood around the NFL owners meetings is everyone's very positive. Everybody wants to get this deal done. If I had to bet my money on it, the deal will get done. That's how confident and positive a lot of these owners are during the NFL owners meetings in regards to Josh Harris being the next owner of the Washington Commanders. Then you also hear from some of these owners saying that they know that Josh Harris is excited and he wants to get the deal done. And I don't blame him. He's a guy who actually has a less than a 5% stake in the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he was already a minority owner of an NFL team. So for him to take over a team, I would be excited too. Now, speaking of being a minority owner, this is one thing that actually happened right behind me in these doors where you go into this Omni Hotel. What is it called? The Omni Viking Hotel, I believe it's called. Here, basically where the Vikings practice at. They also have their own hotel. It's very nice. Washington Commanders fans, or should I say the Washington Commanders, should take notes because this is a beautiful facility. So Art Rooney II, he's the majority owner. You know, the Rooney family owns the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Josh Harris was a minority owner. He owned less than 5% of the team, but he was part of that group that owned the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Art Rooney II, he was walking out. My photographer, Tom, and I, we saw him, and we immediately went straight to him like it was ice cream when we were little kids. And we got a chance to speak to him one-on-one. No other cameras were around, exclusively, about who he thinks What does he think about Josh Harris? And he had nothing but positive things to say about Josh Harris. And the thing that actually stood out the most what Art Rooney II said. He was like, he thinks he's going to be a great owner in this league. And I know a lot of Washington Commander fans have gone, decades as Dan Snyder as their owner, and they feel a certain way about it, mostly negative things about Dan Snyder. So to have one owner who owns a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers has been basically consistently successful for a very long time, speak highly about a guy who can possibly take over the Washington Commanders, that speaks volumes. We already know what Josh Harris has done being successful with the Philadelphia 76ers, his New Jersey Devils, his hockey team. They made the NHL playoffs. So there's a lot of positivity coming behind this owner that could take over the Washington Commanders. But Art Rooney spoke very highly of him. He was also looking forward to the day that the Commanders played the Pittsburgh Steelers. He thinks that's going to be a cool moment to go against a guy who used to own part of the same team that he owns. We'll have more on that actually at 5 o'clock on WSA 9. We're less than an hour away from that, so make sure you tune into that. It's a good thing to see from Art Rooney II. You'll only see that on WSA 9. Now let's get to the third part, the Mary Jo White report. Now, if you guys don't know what the Mary Jo White report is, it's actually an investigation looking into allegations of sexual harassment and financial improprieties regarding Commanders owner Dan Snyder. He's still the Commanders owner, so we still have to say he's the owner of the team until that deal becomes official. That investigation started in February of 2022. It's been a long time for this investigation to take place. The NFL does say, or should I say NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell makes it very clear they will release the findings, unlike what they did with the Wilkinson report. It was the first investigation regarding the Dan Snyder and the toxic workplace culture within the Washington Commanders franchise. That was an oral report, and so now it was a big deal to release the findings of this report. But right now, that report, that investigation, has not completed yet, so there is no report. People are wondering, why is it taking so long? NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says Mary Jo White, she's good at what she does, and she will take whatever time she needs to complete that report. There's just no timeline on that, which you're just wondering why it's taking so long. But that's where we are right now in regards to that. Now, I did tweet out on social media, hey, Roger Goodell is speaking. What questions would you like me to ask the commissioner? And one question was, and it was actually from a former Washington Commander employee, wondering, what is the NFL going to do to protect the former employees from retaliation from current owner Dan Snyder when this Mary Jo White report comes out? We don't know exactly what's in it, but let's just say there's something bad. Are these former employees going to be protected by the NFL when they release it? Roger Goodell, he made it very quick answer. He didn't say, yes, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, but he said we're looking at the findings. Once we look at everything, then we'll try to take a deeper look into it. Matter of fact, I could give you an exact quote on what he actually said. So Roger Goodell, he said that we will address that. So that was your answer there. So that's, I guess, positive news, that at least they're not overlooking it. They know that that's the thing that actually is a concern for some former Washington Commanders employees, and that Roger Goodell is going to address that when that time comes. All right, the fourth thing is Commander Stadium. Everybody's in play now. Virginia's in play. Washington, D.C. is in play, and also Maryland is in play. We asked, the media asked Roger Goodell about, how important is it to have a stadium in Washington, D.C., or just, a new stadium, period. And Roger Goodell mentioned that, he grew up in Washington, D.C. He went to RFK Stadium, and he knows that fan base. So he knows how important it is for the Washington, D.C. community to get a new stadium. The quicker, the better. But he wanted to make it very clear that he didn't want to rush the new ownership group, the Josh Harris group, to build a new stadium. That's not a requirement to be an owner. The money's a requirement and all the other rules. But building a new stadium will not make or break this deal for Josh Harris. Once he takes over, I think it's very important, which Roger Goodell also mentioned too, because he knows the fan base, being from D.C., that it's important to build a new stadium for the Washington Commanders franchise. I will say this. Like I mentioned, walking around here and looking at this facility that they have for the Minnesota Vikings, their practice facility, state of the art. This hotel that's right here, state of the art. It gives you a little bit of motivation, like, you know what, I can't wait until this new ownership group comes in so they can build a practice facility, maybe with a hotel to the side, and also a new stadium. We passed by the new stadium when we first got here in Minneapolis, and you know, it's state of the art. So it's something a lot of fans should be excited about once this new ownership group comes in. But those are the 4 points that took place today. We'll now pretty much wait, which I don't want to say a guarantee, but I can almost guarantee that there will be a special meeting. We don't know exactly where that will be, but there will be a special meeting where these owners will get together, where they can finally vote on the Josh Harris group to be the new owners of the Washington Commanders. When that date comes, I will give you that date, but you need 24 of the 31 owners to vote in favor of that sale for it to become official. We'll let you know when that happens, but according to a few owners, they're telling us that it'll be sometime after the 4th of July, mid-July. A lot of them want to get it done before the regular season starts, but it looks like it's probably going to take place before just training camp gets started. You want to go into any kind of season, even the preseason, knowing who your owner is going to be. And then we have the what's the second point that I miss? Wayne Rooney. That's the soccer player. Art Rooney II, majority owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Josh Harris owns a stake of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's now selling that stake as he's now in this transaction of purchasing the Washington Commanders. Spoke very highly of Josh Harris, so you now have a new owner that's going to possibly take over, who has a lot of references speaking highly of him. And then you have the Mary Jo White report. No update on when that's going to come out. We also know that NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is going to look into possibly protecting some of these former employees once the report comes out about Dan Snyder and all his allegations in regards to financial improprieties and sexual harassment. And then the final note is that Roger Goodell, the NFL Commissioner, is from D.C. He went to RFK. He knows that building a new stadium is important to all you Washington Commanders fans. And so he knows that that's a very important thing, but he's now putting that in the direction of Josh Harris. When that ownership group takes over, that's going to be something that he's going to need to take care of. But everybody knows the Commanders do need a new stadium, so people are looking forward to that. That is your recap of day 2 from the NFL owners meetings. A lot to look forward to in regards to when this deal becomes final for the Josh Harris group to take over as new owners of the Washington Commanders. Until then, from Minneapolis, Minnesota, get a Juicy Lucy, get a cheese curd, all the other fun stuff they have out here. I'll see you back in D.C.